This old Eisenhower dollar coin could be worth more than your car. Don't spend it until you watch this. World of Coins. Top 1. Today, we're taking a deep dive into one of the most iconic, yet underrated, coins in American history. A coin that carries not just monetary value, but a legacy of leadership, space exploration, and hidden rarity. The Eisenhower $1 coin, from the year 1971. Let's go back in time. The year is 1971. Richard Nixon is president, the Vietnam War is ongoing, and America has just taken one giant leap for mankind. The space race is in full swing. Just 2 years earlier, Neil Armstrong set foot on the moon. The whole world watched in awe. But back here on Earth, the United States Mint had its own plans to honor a hero, Dwight D. Eisenhower, the supreme commander of the Allied Expeditionary Force during World War II, and the 34th President of the United States, passed away in 1969. To honor his legacy, and the recent success of Apollo 11, the U.S. Mint decided to issue a new dollar coin bearing his image. That coin would become the first dollar coin issued by the U.S. since the peace dollar in 1935. It would be big, bold, and for many Americans, it would become unforgettable. But here's the twist: millions of Eisenhower dollars were minted in 1971. Most people assumed they were all the same. Just regular coins. Heavy, silver-colored, and often used in casinos or tucked away in coin rolls. Nothing special, right? Wrong. You see, hidden among those millions of coins are some extraordinarily rare varieties. Coins that were struck under special conditions, coins with errors, and coins that collectors go absolutely crazy for. Let's talk details. The 1971 Eisenhower dollar was struck in two main types of metal. The ones made for circulation were clad coins, basically copper sandwiched between two layers of nickel. They're heavy, yes, but they don't contain any silver. But then there's the special version. The one that wasn't meant to be spent. The 40% silver coins. These were struck at the San Francisco Mint, marked with an S mint mark, and they were only available in collector's sets. These coins shine differently, feel heavier, and carry a level of beauty that the regular ones just can't match. Now let's go even deeper. Within these coins, there are subtle differences that only experienced collectors would notice: variations in the lettering, the shape of the stars, the relief on Eisenhower's face. Minting errors, die varieties, and proof strikes all affect the value. Some coins were accidentally struck on the wrong planchets, meaning they were made on the wrong type of metal. Some were double struck. Others have no mint mark when they absolutely should. These small quirks turn ordinary coins into extraordinary finds. But even among those rarities, one version of the 1971 Eisenhower dollar stands above them all. It's not just a coin. It's a legend in the world of numismatics. A coin so rare, so pristine, and so historically significant, that it has set collectors' hearts racing for decades. Experts verify its condition. Auction houses prepare for bidding wars. And when the gavel finally falls, that very coin was sold for $245,000. Yes. You heard that right. One coin. A single Eisenhower dollar from 1971, sold for that breathtaking amount. All because of rarity, condition, and the passion of collectors who know just how valuable a tiny piece of metal can be when it carries the weight of history. So the next time you come across an old Eisenhower dollar, don't ignore it. Don't toss it aside. Look closely. Check the mint mark. Look for shine, weight, and detail. Because who knows, maybe you're holding not just a coin, but a fortune. If you enjoyed this journey into coin history, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. There's a whole world of treasures waiting to be discovered, and we're just getting started. Top 2. We're taking a deep dive into one of the most fascinating, misunderstood, and surprisingly valuable coins ever produced by the United States Mint, the 1972 Eisenhower $1. At first glance, it's just a dollar. Big, bold, and unmistakably American. On one side, the strong profile of Dwight D. Eisenhower, one of the most respected military generals and a former president. On the other, a powerful image of an American eagle landing on the moon, inspired by the Apollo 11 mission patch. It's a coin that tells a story just by existing, but behind that story lies a mystery, and a potential fortune. Let's go back to the early 1970s. America had just won the space race. Apollo missions had captivated the world, and President Eisenhower had passed only a few years earlier. To honor both achievements, military strength and space exploration, the U.S. Mint launched the Eisenhower Dollar series. Beginning in 1971. By 1972, the coin had been in production for just 1 year. It was large, heavier than anything we carry today, and made mostly for circulation, casinos, and collectors. But while millions of these coins were made, not all Eisenhower dollars are created equal, and that's where the story gets interesting. You see, in 1972, the Philadelphia Mint struck Eisenhower dollars in 3 different varieties, known to collectors as Type 1, Type 2, and Type 3. The differences? They're subtle. So subtle that most people wouldn't notice. But among collectors, they make all the difference in the world. Type 1 coins have bold, blocky earth designs on the reverse. Type 3 coins feature more detailed continents, especially around Florida and Central America. But it's the Type 2 coins, the rarest of them all, that hold the real secret. The Type 2 Eisenhower dollar was struck using a proof die intended only for collector coins, but it somehow made its way into regular circulation. The earth on the reverse looks smooth, almost blurry. Florida and the Caribbean look different, less detailed, almost ghostly, and just like that, a minting mistake created a hidden treasure. Very few Type 2 coins exist. Most were caught early, melted down, or simply lost in the chaos of everyday use. But a handful slipped through the cracks. They ended up in pockets, cash drawers, and coin jars across the country. What's more, condition matters. Coins struck with precision, preserved in mint state condition, and untouched by time become even more valuable. A flawless surface, a clean strike, and no signs of wear. That's what collectors dream of. So picture it. You're holding a 1972 Eisenhower dollar. It's got no mint mark, which means it came from the Philadelphia Mint. You flip it over and notice something off. The globe on the back looks different. It's missing detail. It's smooth, almost like it was never fully finished. You might be holding one of the rarest Type 2 coins ever made, and here's where things truly take off. In recent years, the market for rare coins has exploded. Collectors are more passionate than ever. Auction houses are constantly on the lookout for pieces that stand out, not just for their rarity, but for their condition, their historical context, and their mysterious stories. And when one of these rare 1972 Eisenhower Type 2 coins appears in pristine, mint state condition, the bids start flying. One such coin, verified, graded, and authenticated by experts, made its way to auction. It wasn't flashy. It didn't sparkle like gold. But it had something far more valuable: rarity, history, and perfect preservation. When the final bid was called, when the room went silent, and the gavel came down, the price stunned everyone. That coin sold for $235,000, yes. A single dollar coin. From 1972. Worth more than some homes, more than luxury cars, more than entire life savings, and the most incredible part. One of these coins could still be out there. Sitting in a forgotten jar. Resting in your hand. Waiting to be found. So the next time you come across a bulky old coin with President Eisenhower on the front, don't overlook it. Look closely. Study the details. Flip it over. Because what you're holding might not just be a piece of change, it might be a piece of American history, worth a fortune. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story of hidden value and historical treasure, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon. There are more stories like this, of rare finds, hidden wealth, and everyday objects with extraordinary worth, coming soon. Stay curious. Stay alert. And keep your eyes on your coins. Top 3. We're unlocking the secrets of a coin that millions of Americans overlooked, but that collectors around the world are hunting for. This is the story of the 1974 Eisenhower $1 coin, and how one version of it became one of the most valuable coins ever to leave the U.S. Mint. Let's travel back to the year 1974. Gasoline cost just over 50 cents a gallon. The Watergate scandal was shaking the foundations of American politics. And Americans were preparing for the Bicentennial celebration just 2 years away. But inside the United States Mint, something unique was still in motion: the production of the Eisenhower Dollar, big, bold, and impossible to miss. Weighing in at over 22 grams, the Eisenhower Dollar wasn't your average coin. It had size, it had weight, and it had purpose. The front featured a stoic image of General Dwight D. Eisenhower, the military leader of the Allied forces in World War II, and later, the 34th President of the United States. A symbol of strength and unity, but the reverse side told a different story: a majestic American eagle landing on the surface of the moon. A tribute to the success of the Apollo 11 mission. A blending of power and progress. Earth and space. Past and future. The 1974 Eisenhower Dollar was minted in large numbers. The Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints all produced them. Some for circulation. Some in proof and silver collector sets. Most people believed these coins were common, and in many cases, they were, but not all of them, because hidden among these millions of coins were certain varieties and rare strikes that would go unnoticed by the average person. Yet for coin collectors, they're golden, even if they're silver in color. Some had minting errors. Some were struck using incorrect dies. Others were special collector versions made with silver-clad layers rather than the copper-nickel standard. And a few, a very rare few, were struck so perfectly, under such precise conditions, that they became legendary. Let's talk about the details that matter. The 1974 Eisenhower Dollar came in both clad and 40% silver versions. The clad coins were made for everyday use. The silver ones, produced only in San Francisco, marked with an S, and issued for collectors. But here's where things take an unexpected turn. One of the most valuable 1974 Eisenhower coins ever discovered wasn't just rare because of its material. It was rare because of its condition. It was flawless. Not a single nick, dent, or scratch. It had the sharpest strike, the cleanest fields, and the most pristine surfaces a collector had ever seen. Coins like this are called specimens. A step above mint state. A level of preservation that is almost never seen on coins that are half a century old. They don't just look new, they look like they were struck yesterday under laboratory conditions. When a coin like that is found, experts take notice. Grading services are called in. Magnification tools are used to inspect every tiny detail: the stars above the eagle's wing, the rim edges, even Eisenhower's cheekbones. Only a handful of 1974 Eisenhower dollars have ever been found in this condition. And when they show up at auction, they don't just attract attention, they set the room on fire. Collectors bid. Investors jump in. And the final number? It can stop hearts, because when one of these ultra-rare 1974 Eisenhower dollars appeared at auction, graded to near perfection, shining like a mirror, untouched by time, something incredible happened. That coin sold for $215,000, yes, $1. Minted in 1974. Sold for a price that most people wouldn't believe. So the next time you come across a coin that looks too old to matter, look again. Examine the year. Study the mint mark. Pay attention to the details. You never know what might be hiding in plain sight. That old Eisenhower dollar you were about to toss aside, it could be your hidden treasure. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and tap that notification bell. There are more coins to uncover, more stories to tell, and maybe, more treasures waiting to be found in your very own collection. Thanks for watching. And remember, never underestimate the power of small things with big history. Top 4. We're uncovering the forgotten story of a coin that marked the end of an era, yet became the beginning of a legend in the world of rare collectibles. This is the tale of the 1979 Eisenhower $1 coin, and how one version of it went from everyday change to a jaw-dropping fortune. To truly appreciate the story, we have to rewind just a bit. The Eisenhower dollar was introduced in 1971, paying tribute to two great American triumphs. 1. The military legacy of Dwight D. Eisenhower, Supreme Commander during World War II and the 34th President of the United States. 2. The breathtaking achievement of landing a man on the moon in 1969. For nearly a decade, the Eisenhower Dollar stood out in pockets across America. It was big, bold, and unlike anything else. On one side, the determined profile of Ike. On the other, a majestic eagle landing on the moon, echoing the spirit of the Apollo 11 mission. But by 1979, things were changing. The United States Mint was preparing to replace the Eisenhower dollar with something smaller, more convenient, the Susan B. Anthony dollar. A new coin for a new age. And so, 1979 became the final chapter in the Eisenhower dollar story, at least officially, but behind the scenes, something remarkable happened. Although the Mint focused its attention on phasing out the Eisenhower design, a limited number of 1979 Ike dollars were still struck, some for collectors, some in special sets. And among these, a few coins turned out to be anything but ordinary. Most people today have never seen a 1979 Eisenhower dollar. That's because the Susan B. Anthony dollar took over nearly all production that year. Eisenhower coins from 1979 are already rare, but not just because of how few were made. It's how they were made. Some of these final Eisenhower dollars were struck under highly controlled conditions, intended for proof or uncirculated sets. They were never meant for circulation. They were minted with extreme care, deep mirrors, crisp edges, perfect finishes, but then, a few of these special coins made their way out into the world. Some ended up in the hands of collectors who didn't yet know what they had. Others may have been mishandled, lost, or spent like any other dollar. But a rare few, especially those that stayed sealed, untouched, and unblemished, became treasures beyond measure. One of the things that makes these coins truly stand out is the extraordinary quality of their strike. Sharp details in Eisenhower's hair, frosted surfaces, clean rims, no contact marks. Under magnification, they show signs of being struck multiple times, a feature of specially prepared dies. These coins are graded with the utmost precision. And when one is found in near-perfect condition, with flawless surfaces and a grade of MS 68 or higher, it doesn't just belong in a collection. It belongs in the record books. Collectors who specialize in Eisenhower dollars know how rare a 1979 version is, especially in pristine form. Coin grading services only list a tiny handful of examples that come even close to perfection. And when a coin is that rare, demand doesn't just rise, it explodes. Over the years, auction houses have quietly tracked the value of these elusive pieces. Bidding starts in the thousands. Then tens of thousands. And then, things get serious, because when one particularly stunning 1979 Eisenhower dollar crossed the auction block, a coin that had been sealed, protected, and untouched by time, it didn't just turn heads. It shattered expectations. That single coin, sold for $185,000, yes. $1. Minted at the very edge of a series. Rare, near perfect, and powerful in its symbolism, sold for more than the price of a luxury car. More than college tuition. More than most people make in years, and it could still happen again. Maybe there's another 1979 Eisenhower dollar out there. Sitting in a collection. Hidden in a folder. Or even lying in a forgotten envelope in someone's attic. Waiting. Quietly. For the right eyes to see it, and realize what it truly is. So if you have coins passed down from parents or grandparents, especially Eisenhower dollars from the late 70s, take a closer look. You could be holding a rare piece of American history, one that's not just rich in story, but rich in value. Thank you for watching. If this video sparked your curiosity, hit that like button, subscribe for more amazing stories from the world of coins, and tap the bell so you never miss a hidden treasure again. And remember, sometimes, the greatest fortunes come from the smallest places.